We seriously need to talk about Ned Fulmer because he is actually out here making jokes about his affair. He is bringing it up yet again, and honestly, I've said it before, but I will say it again. I feel like he has some kind of public humiliation kink where he gets off on the backlash. He just seems to love discussing the exact situation that completely destroyed his entire life. But today, we are going to dive deep into everything Ned has recently been saying. Ned Fulmer has honestly convinced me that he does not care about his reputation anymore and is fully prepared to lean into the drama just to keep generating content. I mean, literally a month ago, he used an actual photo of his cheating scandal as the thumbnail for a video. So it really feels like he is fully embracing it. He knows exactly what he is infamous for, and I don't think he is even attempting to be known for anything else at this stage. He has openly stated in the past that he loves creating content, and despite the massive fallout, he doesn't want to stop, even though thousands of people leave comments on every single post telling him to just move on from the Try Guys style of videos. But I think his passion for making content is so high that he truly doesn't care if he has to exploit his own scandal to keep pushing out videos and getting a return on his time, even if the feedback is overwhelmingly negative. Honestly, when he first made his internet comeback and did that sit-down interview with Ariel, I genuinely thought they were doing that as a one-time thing. I assumed they would address the scandal once, clear the air, and then he would attempt to pivot to new content without ever mentioning the affair again. But that is not what is happening at all. I feel like every other week, Ned finds a way to bring up the scandal in some shape, manner, or form. The last time I saw him address it, he even started sharing specific new details about what went down between him and Alex, the employee he had the affair with. So, as much as he claims he wants to move past the situation, he constantly drags himself right back into it, reminding the entire internet of exactly what he did. He knows it is going to bring him an absolute wave of backlash because he literally talks about facing the internet's wrath for the scandal. But I feel like he recognizes that controversy is the only thing people actually pay attention to when it comes to him. It's like he knows people are hate-watching his videos, and he would honestly prefer that people hate-watch him than not watch him at all, I suppose. Just this past week, he uploaded a clip to his social media showing him performing a stand-up comedy routine. And, true to form, he threw in a joke about the cheating scandal.
BuzzFeed, I basically wrote the listicle 10 reasons why having a workplace affair will shatter your marriage and career. Like, subscribe. Yep. It's led me to stand up, though. Seems like I fit right in. Thank you very much for having me.
Some people in the comments section said, "You've got to give him credit for being resilient." Interestingly, Ned actually liked that specific comment. Someone else wrote a longer response saying, "Honestly, this guy made a massive mistake. Does he deserve all the absolute garbage he gets for it? I really don't think so. Unfortunately, what he did is a pretty common thing. I'm not trying to justify it at all, because what he did is completely trashy and terrible. Everyone makes mistakes. His was just publicly exposed." Now, that doesn't mean you should keep bringing it up. Recently, I messed up big time with someone, and it severely affected multiple aspects of my life. But here is the biggest thing I learned from it. I want to be defined by my present self and who I am becoming, not by my past mistakes. It is over. You cannot change the past, no matter how hard you try. It is healthy to move on, but it is not healthy to constantly keep bringing it up. It is almost like you want to be defined by your mistake, Ned. You messed up. I support you trying to rebuild your life and ultimately trying to be the best father you can be for your kids. But this isn't the way to do it, man. Stop associating yourself with that specific era of your life. That shouldn't define you. Your kids don't deserve that, your ex doesn't deserve that, and everyone involved doesn't deserve that. Move on. It happened. Learn from it and never do it again. But not every single post needs to constantly bring this up. Anyway, I've said my piece. I hope you actually read this, Ned, because I truly want you to become a better person and be a great role model for your children to follow. Ned actually replied directly to this specific comment and wrote, "The rest of the set was about dating as a single dad and male friendships." Trust me, I agree with you. But even though Ned is actively claiming that he agrees with that statement, he still manages to bring up the scandal in almost every single video he puts out. In another social media clip posted during that exact same week, he hosted an episode discussing the topic of divorce. Upon sharing that clip, he definitely took a massive beating in the comments section.
Just because you're divorced, just because you've separated, that doesn't mean your family's broken down. You're not different. I hate that concept of the broken family, the broken home. That doesn't exist. You're just rewriting it. You get to choose. You've got the power to decide how you want to do it with your ex, for your children, and that's what I wanted to share.
The internet absolutely dragged him for this. People replied with comments like, "You literally broke your family. Stop lecturing people on this, bro. You broke your family up by doing something completely avoidable and selfish." And then, "Queen, you broke your family. Get over yourself." Then he went ahead and talked about it yet again on another podcast appearance, mentioning that his in-person interactions go over vastly better than his digital interactions, all while discussing the scandal and the public's intense reaction to it.
Saw so much outrage, and I just felt like, oh my God, the whole world hates me. I mean, that probably was true. And also, whenever I have met in the years past someone on the street, it's, the more interpersonal human interaction is like a lot more softened. Just like, man, you really fucked up, huh? But everyone goes through hard times. Damn, like, how are you? Like, it's just interesting, some of the interactions that I've had that are so not what the online vitriol is.
Now, going back to that podcast episode where he used the photo of him cheating as the actual video thumbnail, he appeared on his infidelity therapist's podcast, re-uploaded the audio onto his own channel, and they basically analyzed the entire scandal. He literally retold the narrative from top to bottom, detailing exactly what happened, the immediate fallout, and everything surrounding it. Different stuff. But
one of the things that I sort of became known for was actually my relationship and family. And I talked about that journey of being a young couple and starting to have children. My ex-wife, Ariel, became a character in a way in our show. And so I was known as a public figure. She was known as a public figure. And in 2022, I had an affair with an employee of my production company, our producer, actually. And all of this became a very public scandal, which had immense consequences in all of our lives.
The therapist even directly asks him at one point if he secretly wanted to get caught, because she felt that typically people who are actively cheating do not go out to highly crowded public spaces with the person they are having an affair with.
I was seen with my affair partner going out in public, and someone took photos of that and sent it to our partners and then my office. And so, yeah, I mean, we went to a major concert together. I think at this point it had been going on for many months. And I think I wouldn't have said at the time that I wanted to get caught, but looking back on it, I certainly was behaving in a way that I did. And I subconsciously, most assuredly, I wanted this fractured life to end.
He then transitions into discussing his departure from the Try Guys brand. He explains that Ariel was also looped into that situation and effectively forced away from the company, which is incredibly interesting because the public narrative from the remaining members was that Ariel was welcome to return if she ever wished to. That is not exactly what Ned is implying here. If you guys didn't know, Ariel was heavily embedded in the Try Guys ecosystem. She hosted a highly successful podcast with the other partners of the Try Guys. But what Ned seems to be claiming now is that stepping away wasn't actually her independent choice.
The immediate consequences were shattering my marriage. And then my business partners found out the context of me having a relationship with an employee of our production company, which was concerning to them. And they ultimately chose to part ways with me and kind of force both me and Ariel away from the brand and even edit me out of videos, which then the audience noticed and was confused about. Then the photos kind of went viral, and the whole story went viral in the same breadth as me being pushed away from the brand. And it was just completely overwhelming for me, for Ariel. Kind of a slow moving train wreck that over a course of about a month, as we're dealing privately with this immense fallout, we're also kind of navigating this behind the.
Ned is truly such a fascinating psychological study, because you would think an individual in his position would want the public to completely forget about what happened and just let it fade away. But that is simply not the case here at all. Furthermore, people constantly point out that Ned has young kids who will inevitably see all of this digital content one day. Because of that, many feel he shouldn't be continuously exploiting this situation for views, especially since it isn't a laughing matter. It is not something that people want to be constantly reminded of. It is just a genuinely sad situation at the end of the day. But perhaps it is also a coping mechanism where, if he doesn't laugh about it, he will cry, because he knows deep down how badly he ruined not only his domestic life, but his professional career as well. When you look back, the trajectory that the Try Guys were on at that specific time is absolutely wild to think about. I mean, they had a major Food Network television show that was completely scrapped because of Ned's actions. They lost numerous brand partnerships and suffered massive financial losses on content they had already filmed with Ned that could never be uploaded. I honestly feel like the Try Guys would be standing right there at the official YouTube FYC events right now, actively campaigning to get one of their high-budget series nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award if this scandal hadn't occurred. The upward trajectory for the Try Guys was insane. They were the absolute darlings of the YouTube platform. Now, it feels like YouTube as a corporate entity doesn't acknowledge or feature them nearly as much. Just this past week, YouTube hosted its annual FYC for Your Consideration event, which is their official showcase where they actively attempt to secure Emmy nominations for digital creators. If you guys are unfamiliar with how this works, this is a massive industry push right before the official Emmy voting period begins. Major studios host lavish events in a direct attempt to persuade Emmy voters to nominate their specific shows. It is their way of buttering up these Television Academy voters with exclusive parties, custom promotional merchandise, and direct interactions with the digital stars themselves. Massive billboards are erected across Los Angeles, asking voters to consider nominating specific web series, creators, and online personalities. Last year, YouTube made a historically massive push to get content on the platform recognized. The company hosted its very first official For Your Consideration event, spending big bucks trying to get Hot Ones, Good Mythical Morning, and Michelle Carr's Challenge Accepted officially nominated. This was a massive power move because YouTube is increasingly competing with traditional network television for viewers and multi-million-dollar advertising budgets. The corporate team feels that many of these highly produced shows living on YouTube genuinely deserve the exact same prestige and consideration that traditional cable network shows receive, arguing they should finally be considered for an Emmy. Ultimately, none of those specific YouTubers ended up securing an official nomination last year, but the platform is pushing incredibly hard once again this season for a breakthrough nomination. They are heavily campaigning for Hot Ones, Challenge Accepted, Royal Court, Good Mythical Morning, Chicken Shop Date, Last Meals, and a few others. They are actively gunning for categories like Outstanding Talk Series, Short-Form Comedy, and Variety Series, just to name a few. I know that Keith and Zach are still working incredibly hard to keep the ball rolling for their channel, and they are genuinely trying their best. They are consistently putting out incredibly high-quality content, but I just can't shake the feeling that if they had never experienced that devastating scandal, they would be right there at these corporate YouTube FYC events getting heavily pushed for an Emmy nomination because their production value is just that good. It is just incredibly disheartening to look back and think about how everything ultimately turned out for them. But that is the latest update on Ned Fulmer. That is exactly what he has recently been saying and posting online. I absolutely want to know what you guys think about this entire situation down in the comments section. Let me know your thoughts on his new content strategy. I love you guys so incredibly much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys!